Shut up, shut up, shut up,
YouTube family, what's good with you? It's your boy 2A in LA, and as always, fam, anything I say in this episode, prior episodes, and future episodes is just my personal opinion. Don't take it as fact. Don't take it as law. Always do your own homework and come up with your own conclusions. Right about now, fam, I should go ahead and tap that like button for your boy. If you're new to the channel, I want to say welcome. Come on in. You can join the congregation by smashing that subscribe button and requesting all post notifications. And if you are an existing supporter of this channel, bam! I appreciate you more than you can possibly imagine. You are the reason this channel is anything. Yo, fam, so check it. Do me a favor. Down below, you will see the link to the 2A in LA official merchandise website. If you want some 2A in LA gear, that is the place to go. And also, fam, if you look down below as well, hit that join button for a minor fee, fam. You get access to all things 2A in LA. Pre-release video, you get access to all of the major giveaways that we do every year. Fam, don't miss out. All right, back to the video. All right, fam, let's get this episode rolling. So, fam, we have a good one today. Look, fam, Phoenix Trinity has been kind of on one. I ain't gonna lie. They have been on a bit of a roll. That desert deal that they did with Vulcan Machine Works was incredible. Incredible looking and shooting. The Honcho V2 that they did in conjunction with Covert. You know, I own that gun. Crazy good. Crazy good. Now, they dropped the Phoenix Trinity H2 at SHOT Show this past year. And when I saw it, I thought, oh, okay, that's a unique looking gun. That's a good looking gun. I like when people try to step out of the box and do like different serration patterns and give you a different look. And so we'll get into it a lot more when we do the tabletop review. but I can tell you that the H2 has a very unique look to it. It is comped. It's got that big Hawking comp on it. It's got their Evo grip, which I gotta say is one of my favorite grip modules out there on the market. And so what I would say is, let's get this bad boy over to the Tactical Formulary work desk and get a closer look at it. All right, fam, here we are at the Tactical Formulary work desk, taking a closer look at that Phoenix Trinity H2. Look, fam, I think this is a very attractive gun. You've got that huge comp that puts in work. You've got this very unique slide cut pattern that's running along the top side of the slide, which is screaming to me to be V6. You know why I poured it? That's just how my brain works. You've got a very unique serration pattern on the side, and I have found, and by the way, the gun is free and clear unloaded, right? I have found them to be unique looking, but also very functional, very easy to get a hold to. It's featuring that Evo grip. Look, this is one of my favorite grip modules out there. You've got that Mulinar grip that's on the Viking Hill that I think is great. Obviously, you got the Atlas grip, which has the exchangeable panels and step-ups on the side, and that's phenomenal because of the modularity. This gun may be one of the best feeling grips. This grip may be one of the best feeling grips out there. The texture is just perfect. You got that skeletonized hammer on the back of the gun, which I think is great. Now look, sometimes people will criticize Phoenix Trinity for fit and finish, and we'll get into that in more detail. But I will tell you up front, I think they knocked it out of the park on this one. The one thing that I don't like, the ambidextrous grip safeties are very nice feeling, but they're stiff. They're a little stiff. Not incredibly easy to engage. They require a break-in period. You don't see that a lot of times on guns that are at this price point. Really, relative to the fit and finish, that would be my sole criticism, because I think the coating is very, very well done. The componentry is all very, very well done. Again, this gun is about 2.4 pounds empty, 8 1/4 in length, 1.43 in width, 5.83 inches in height. It has their linkless barrel system. It's a double stack 1911 chambered in 9mm. You got a 5-inch light rail, steel slide, steel frame, aluminum Evo grip, ambi thumb safety, 2.5 pound trigger pull, and we'll talk about the trigger. We'll talk about the trigger a bit more when we get into the review. The barrel length is 4.780 inches. And then you've got, of course, that comp, or integrated comp on the front. You've got a 6.5 inch sight radius. And it comes with two MBX Defender 19+1 capacity mounting plate. You've got the optic plate, and it comes with an optional racker. So look, again, I think Phoenix Trinity did a very good job on this gun. I think the aesthetic of the gun is very, very well nice. Fit and finish is real nice. But look, enough talking about it. Let's get into the review. All right, fam, we are back. Hopefully you enjoyed the footage from the Tactical Formulary work desk. Let's dive into the review. So if you've never seen a 2A NLA review, kind of works like this. 0, hot garbage, worst gun in the history of the world. Never had a gun get a 0. 100, best possible gun you could imagine. Only had 2 guns in the history of the channel ever to get 100. If you've got something 50 to 60, that's going to be an average straight down the middle gun, right? Think Glock 17 Gen 6, right? Just gun will go bang every time, very reliable, just not a lot of fills and thrills to it. You got something 60 to 70, okay, that gun has a feature or two that's separated from the norm. You got something kind of 70 to 80, okay, now you're cooking with a bit of gas. Now we're talking about a gun that is feature rich and is a good shooter and really is a couple of deviations above the norm. You got something 80 to 89. Okay, now we're talking about kind of a best-in-class firearm, particularly if you're in that upper 80s, like 85 to 89. And if you got something 90 and above, grill gun status all day. All right, fam, first up, fit and finish. We've kind of already gone over the specs on this gun. I'll just tell you that it's well done. It's pretty well done. The fitment, slide to frame is rock solid. Grip to frame, rock solid. Trigger, no wiggle or wobble in there whatsoever. Barrel lock up is tight as all get out. Look, they did their thing on this one. I'm not going to lie, fam. We'll get into a lot more about my thoughts on the gun, but look, no hang-ups whatsoever. Smooth as butter. I can't lie, fam. I'm digging this gun. I'm digging this gun. My man Jeff from the Weapon Collective also has one. Look, fam, I got the Honcho V2, and so I was like, oh, I got the Honcho V2. I don't really need this one. Yeah, we'll get into the shootability of the gun, but I'm reconsidering. I'm reconsidering that approach because what? Man, very well done. Fit and finish, I'm going to give this gun a 15 out of a possible 15. Next up, reliability. Look, fam, the gun ran well. I want to say maybe out of probably 1,200 to 1,500 rounds, there was like one or two kind of, one stovepipe, one kind of misfeed, but that was about it. I found the gun to be very reliable. Was it flawless? No, but I felt like it ran very, very, very well for reliability. We're going to give it a 14 out of a possible 15. All right, fam. Next up, durability. Look, again, well done. Steel frame, steel slide, aluminum grip, DLC coated. Well done, I might add. I think, again, man, hard for me to find a lot of criticism relative to the gun. For durability, we're going to give it a 15 out of a possible 15. All right, fam. Next up, trigger. I thought the trigger was really, really well done as well. It's got a little take up to it. Clear, defined wall. Crisp, clean break. Reset. I'll put the trigger weight up there. Look, I think the trigger was well done. I think the trigger, is it Atlas? No, it's not Atlas. Is it Infinity? No. But solid. Really, really solid. If it seems like I'm pausing a little bit, it's just because this, I think, is one of the weaker areas of the gun, and it's still great. It's still great. But yeah, I do think despite how solid the trigger is one of the weaker areas of the gun. So for trigger, we're going to give it a 13 out of a possible 15. All right, fam. Next up, accuracy. And so look, when we're talking about accuracy here, we're not just talking about barrel accuracy. We're talking about the shootability of the gun. Because look, it's one thing for a gun to be able to give you a really small group if it's sitting in a rest and you're taking short trigger pulls, but that's not how we shoot, right? This gun is either going to be used in a competition, or it's going to be used for self-defense, or it's going to be used to have a blast at the range. In any case, you're probably going to be shooting at higher rates of speed. You're going to be shooting with more attention. When these things come into play, how easy is it to maintain the accuracy of the gun? I think that's what we're really trying to get at here, because I think it's more meaningful than just barrel accuracy, right? And so I will say this gun is a phenomenal shooter. I mean, I don't want to say I wanted to hate it. I think it was more like I just bought the V2, the Honcho V2. I was like, oh, I don't need another. And I have the H-Tac as well. I was like, oh, do I need another Phoenix Trinity gun? Like, is the shooting experience going to be that much different from what I have? Fam, look, it shot great. It shot great. It was soft. It handled great. Look, I'll tell you what, fam. this may be a bold statement, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't know if any one company does comped guns better than Phoenix Trinity. I don't know. I don't think there is. I'm thinking through my head. I'm running through my mental Rolodex. Phoenix Trinity has a lot of comped gun models, and they all shoot stupid good. Stupid good. They've been doing this for a long time. The criticisms with Phoenix Trinity has to do with their quality control and their customer service. Nobody ever said, though, they don't make a great shooting gun. And I'm here to tell you, this is one. Accuracy / shootability, we're going to give it a 9 out of a possible 10. Next up, ergonomics. Look, I said this earlier. This Evo grip is one of probably my top 3 favorite grips out there. There's the Hell by Viking. There is the, which is that Molinar grip. There is Atlas Gunworks, which has kind of the interchangeable grip modules. And then I think Evo is probably my 3rd favorite grip. The texture on this is perfection. It is just enough of roughness. If you're the kind of person that likes to leave some skin in your gun, it can do a little bit of that, but it's not going to make you bleed. Right? It is, the texturing feels great. I think it's a very attractive looking grip. On top of that, I think the gun is well balanced, although a little back heavy, specifically with this grip and the mag well, but still a well balanced gun. It feels tremendous in the hand. It is easy to shoot, easy to keep on target. It is flat. I love the ergos of this gun. For ergonomics, I'm giving it a 10 out of a possible 10. All right, these next 2 categories, we're going to lump them together. Aftermarket support, maintenance, and upkeep. Got to keep it clean. There's plenty of aftermarket support. Without going into too much details on that, we're going to give this gun a 4 out of 5 in both of those categories. All right, fam. Next up, affordability. I'll go ahead and I'll put the MSRP up there. It's an expensive gun. It's an expensive gun, and that's one thing I've been noticing. Look, a lot of these gun companies are starting to go upstream. And I think when you do that, it's okay, as long as you're delivering for that price point what other companies are delivering. Does the H2 fit that mold? When I think about other guns that are in this price point, obviously you've got a whole host of Atlas guns that are in that space. The Titan, the Athena, the Apollo, the EOS. Is it comparable to them? Maybe. When I think about other guns, the Dark Forge Reaper comes to mind. Very similar price point. Now that gun is hybrid. Fit and finish, I would say, is pretty comparable. Shootability on the Reaper, I would say, is probably better. But I certainly think it's a reasonable comparison. I don't think it's out of bounds for that. I also think that if you wanted to, if you kind of see the slide cuts there, the inline slide cuts there, you'll know this gun is ready-made for some aftermarket guy to come in and do an inline 6-port on this bad boy. And I would really like to see that, and then put that up against the Reaper, right? But it's not that way out of the box, so I'm not considering that. I do think, I hate to say it, I think the price is probably warranted. I think you're getting, I'm not going to say you're getting a lot for your money, but I'm going to say they're giving you what you would expect for your money at this price point for the most part. But it's not an inexpensive gun, so for affordability, we're only giving it a 2 out of a possible 5. Last up, flex. Is Instagram gonna go crazy, or your boy's gonna be like, damn, Are all the honeys gonna want to shoot your gun? Yeah, boo. Yeah, boo. 100%. Look, I think they killed it. I like the fact some people may not like the slide serrations, as I said in the desktop review. They are very, very functional serrations, and they have a different aesthetic. And I like the guns to look different. I don't like this theme where every 2011 looks exactly like every other 2011. And I think Phoenix Trinity understood the assignment with this gun, and they brought it to you. Now, they brought it to you at a high price, but they brought it to you. For Flex, we're going to give it a 4 out of a possible 5. All right, fam, when you add all of that up, you get a 90 out of a possible 100. Phoenix Trinity, for the first time in the history of the channel, hits railgun status with the H2. Now, a lot of you guys are going to ask me, 2A in LA, Honcho V2 or V2? Look, I don't know. Here's what I would say. I think the Honcho V2 is a more fun gun to shoot. That dual comp system is stupid. It is stupid fun. It is stupid flat. It's relatively lightweight. Yeah, I love shooting that gun. I do think, though, that fit and finish, and I've seen a few of these now, not just the model that I have. I do think fit and finish is a tad bit better on the V2. I'm loving the fact that this gun is ready to be sent off to the right company to port, so you can have a hybrid pistol that is going to run like nobody's business. Look, I am seriously considering buying this gun. Honestly, I am seriously considering buying this gun. That's how much I enjoy shooting it. And so, yeah, fam, I think well done. Well done, Phoenix Trinity. Hats off to you guys. Look, I know Phoenix Trinity gets a lot of hate out there in the blogosphere and in the internet world of things, and probably some of that they have earned. But I gotta tell you, I own 2 Phoenix Trinity guns. I've shot I don't know how many Phoenix Trinity guns. They're shooters. They're shooters for sure. And I've never had any issues in it. I've never had any real issues with any of my Phoenix Trinity guns. So there's that. But I've also never had to interact with them because of that. I've never had to interact with them relative to their customer service, so I really can't speak to that. But look, so kudos to Phoenix Trinity for making one fine 2011. All right, fam, that's it for this episode. Until next time, as always, take care of one another and peace.